The following Best of Central Florida program is sponsored in part by Beth's Burger Bar, Passio Photography, GenCare Resources, and Sophila Radio and Television Productions.
Welcome to the Best of Central Florida. I am Justin Clark. I will never forget. The year was 2002. I was in law school up in Boston, hanging out at the Beantown Pub to be exact. A classmate comes over, introduces himself. He said he was from Orlando. I was shocked. I thought Orlando was theme parks, chain restaurants, maybe a water park or two. Who would have thought that now, 20 years later, I would have lived here for 15 of them? Who would have thought I would raise my two little girls? Are you coming in? I feel like I'm about to get attacked here. Who would have thought I would fall in love with Central Florida?
I don't have a microphone on.
It's a hidden gem from great restaurants.
Professional sports teams? Yeah. Booming art scene, the Makaila River and the beaches.
And yes, even the theme parks, from Cocoa to Claremont, Sorrento to Samsula. This is the best of Central Florida. Let's be honest, we couldn't do just 1 week of best women entrepreneurs in Central Florida. There are just too many. One of them happens to be right next to me, my dear friend, the beautiful Makaila Nichols. Hello, Makaila.
Hi, Justin.
Now, you aren't up for one of these awards because, well, you're the co-host of the show, so you couldn't win. However, had you not been my co-host, I have no doubt you would have won one of the awards.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the flattery.
I'm not trying to flatter you. I'm being serious.
Okay.
I've learned a lot. I have. I mean, I am so proud of the women throughout Central Florida and all the change that they've made and the successes that they've had. It's been amazing to really watch.
Yeah, they're so inspiring. I mean, I get inspired just talking to them.
Now, some of the people we have coming up today, one of which is really your mentor, is doing great things. Other ones are pretty amazing too. I mean, these women have won awards left and right. I don't even know if they care about winning this award on our show.
I think they do. I think they'd love to share their story and share their voice because it got them to where they are.
You think so?
I know so.
Well, I know you have some awards ahead and you've won plenty of awards yourself too. But I'm looking forward to doing the show with you.
Likewise.
And without further ado, here's what we're gonna do. Quick break. When we return, the top women entrepreneurs in all of Central Florida.
The following Best of Central Florida Makailas Choice is sponsored in part by Beth's Burger Bar and Sophila Radio and Television Productions.
So as you know, I have been so excited about this episode, obviously because I'm a woman in business, and the lady who I'm about to introduce has been a role model of mine for quite some time. So without further ado, Makaila's choice for Best Women in Business is the only, one and only Beth Steele, founder of Beth's Burger Bar.
Thank you. Good to see you.
I think when you walk into a room...
Let me stop you right there. Beth cheated to get on the show or something, because you guys were just having dinner last night,
because I admire and look up to her so much.
We have to learn from each other.
I see.
Yeah, we teach each other things.
I've actually been inspired by watching the relationship between you two, and you have been sort of a big sister to her, and she does look up to you for sure.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for
calling
me out.
I look up to her too.
Proceed, go ahead.
A lot of people, unfortunately,
no, you literally look up to her.
I literally look up to her.
Hey, Mark. But Beth, I've got to know, I mean, obviously you've built like a burger empire, but was that kind of like your first dream growing up?
No, I wanted to be the weather girl.
Really?
I really did, yes. But then I was kind of getting a little too old for that. So I wanted to do a bar or be the weather girl. So I always liked doing the creative part and coming up with ideas, and I wanted to have people where they could come in shorts and a t-shirt or come dressed up and just be like, feel comfortable like they're at home with friends.
Well, you've done that, and starting a restaurant, I'm sure, is no easy feat, let alone, being a woman and starting a restaurant. How was that whole process for you?
The being a woman part wasn't the challenge. I think I had a lot of support from people that wanted to see me succeed with my staff and everything. I have a staffing company, So I got a lot of support from customers from everywhere, from warehouse to clerical. So I had a lot of restaurant owners that I already knew, and they helped me. I had the chef from the convention center. He helped me do some ideas on portioning and things. So there's definitely learning curves as far as portions can't be this big and charge this much.
What do you mean they can't be this big? This one begs to differ, huh?
That one's a little big, yes, yes. So it was just a lot of things you learn. When you're in business, you know certain things that are always going to stay the same, but everything, restaurants are just a whole nother beast for sure.
So you went from staffing to restaurants.
Yes.
And then you do like a million other things.
Yes.
In your spare time.
Yes, yes, and I'm going to be fishing soon too. Very excited.
Yeah. Well, while we're on the topic of fishing, just for a second, you started a company called Hooker Booker.
Yes.
What's that?
It's like the Airbnb for fishing captains. So if you want to go fishing in Key West, you can go on our site, you find a captain, you book it half day, inshore, offshore, and then we get a percentage of all the bookings. So we have a clothing line, and then it's anywhere. You can fish in Alaska, you can fish in Texas, anywhere. So
That's pretty great. You have to teach me how to fish.
I will definitely do that. We're doing that this summer for sure.
I can't wait.
For sure.
So back to burgers. So we're going from fish to burgers. What did you bring with you today?
So this is the Western. It has barbecue, pepper jack, jalapenos. And this one is the Double D. It's missing a few things because it wouldn't fit in my cart.
Can people like put their mouth around that?
Yeah, and if you finish it in 10 minutes, you get a free t-shirt.
Wow,
That says you survived it.
Speaking of t-shirts, this is my favorite t-shirt, by the way, and maybe we can get a close-up of this in a minute. Proof, once again, that one girl can beat 5 guys. That's Burger Bar. Unbelievable.
Yes, and Five Guys does a very good job.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a fun thing.
I get it.
It's a little fun banter.
Yes, for all that are listening. But yes, and then this is the jalapeno cheese crunch. So that has Cheetos, cheese sauce, cheddar, and jalapenos.
It's taking everything in me to not just like straight up eat.
Well, so let's speed talk, and then you
Yeah,
guys can eat real
speed talk and
fast.
eat. But what advice do you have? Because obviously the whole area looks up to you. You do so much for the community. What advice do you have for someone who might be watching? They're like, man, I want to start my own restaurant. I want to start my own staffing group. Like, what advice do you have for them?
Don't do it.
Okay.
No.
Well, you heard it
I
here
think
first.
Make sure it's a passion. Make sure location, depending on what kind of business it is. One of the big things that I've been very lucky with is staff. So I have the best staff, and people, we get reviews and things about it all the time. And a lot of it is you have to be part of it. You can't just start something without feeling strongly about it. And I'm there all the time too. I'm very hands-on. So you have to have good marketing. Lauren, Callie, they all are great for that part of it. They help me out a lot. So, and it's just giving back. You can't just keep going, taking and taking. So, and we love doing that. So we do a lot of charity stuff. But that's one of the big things, that my staff is good at too, and they enjoy it, whether it's doing auction donations or being part of something. So that's a big thing, is to always give back.
Yeah, no, you definitely have. And our foundation, the Blatantly Honest Foundation, really appreciates your support in the past for the Kindness Burger. It was super yummy. We might have to run it back.
We have it still, so you can still get it at the stores. It's still there.
Really?
Yes.
And I want to thank you
love
for
that.
what do you call this thing again?
I think it's a pop socket.
My
Yes.
pop socket. I still have it because Beth's Burger Bar won Best Burger as well a few months back, and I still have the pop socket.
Perfect. I'm
Celebrating
very
you.
proud of you for that. Thank you.
You got it.
Well, Beth, is there anything else you might want to add? I mean, you're crushing it with the burger game, Hooker Booker, the staffing agency. What's next for you?
Well, we have 4 stores now, and we may possibly be having a 5th.
Ooh, well, you heard it here first.
You exactly
Another-
did.
Possibly, who
It was
knows?
actually today. So, yes.
Well, Beth, thank you so much. Thank you for inspiring me and the rest of Central Florida.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Of course. And we'll be right back with People's Choice after this short break.
The following Best of Central Florida Justin's Choice is sponsored in part by Passio Photography and Sophila Radio and Television Productions.
You have spoken, the people have spoken. People's Choice for what? Did I take your line?
It's fine. I'll share the line. It's okay. I mean, I'm letting you do People's Choice because it's Best Women. It's fine with me. You can borrow my line.
No, I appreciate
No,
it.
I kind of like the fact that you're stealing my lines. It means that you like my lines.
Well, I do like this line, and so do the people. And the people obviously love who's standing right next to me. People's choice for Best Women-Owned Business is my dear friend Jacqui from Passio Photography. How you doing?
Great.
So happy to have you here. And I personally love photography. I grew up in front of the camera, and before we started, you were like, oh my goodness, I have to be in front of the camera. How does it feel?
Yeah. It's still a little nervous.
No, you're gonna do.
Used to being on the other side.
Yeah. And you know, we were talking all about women's empowerment and making people feel comfortable. How do you make people feel comfortable in front of the camera?
I've studied posing over the years, and that's a big one, but probably the biggest one is guiding them throughout the session. I want to make them feel beautiful. So it's a lot of talking, it's a lot of prompts, and that gives natural reactions.
So do you think you could help someone like him feel comfortable in front of the camera?
Definitely.
Hey, can you just put the mirrors in there, like before I get up there? That you know, some mirrors make you look skinny, and others don't. I'm telling you, the ones here at WKMG make you look skinny. Because I walk out here, I'm like, I'm not as fat as I thought, and then I look at the show, and I'm like, I am fat.
Well, that's not very empowerment of you.
Sorry, it's not Men's Empowerment Day, is it?
No, it's
Okay.
Women's Empowerment
Thank
Day.
you.
So speaking of women, I mean, you work with women from kind of the get-go through maternity, boudoir. You did some weddings. What's your favorite?
Oh man, that's really hard. We started doing weddings and pretty much everything that we could photograph, but over the years I've kind of focused on women in general. I want to celebrate them in every stage that they're in, so it's boudoir, maternity, being a boss, having those portraits. I mean, that's what I really want to focus on. But if I had to pick one, it'd probably be maternity.
Let me interrupt here for a second, and I'm asking for the men at home. I know what it means, obviously, boudoir.
Yes.
Go ahead. And for the people at home, not me, I know. What is it?
Boudoir is,
It's like sexy time photos.
yes,
Oh, that,
it is.
yes.
Yeah, you put on lingerie. I mean, it can be sweaters, it can be casual, it can be, the full set, but it empowers you. You walk out feeling amazing. You walk out feeling gorgeous. So it's a boost in confidence.
Sweet.
I love that. No, that's awesome. So how
you
do
glad I
you
asked?
take someone in their most raw forms, literally, and be like, hey, do this and that? I mean, are they just like, oh my gosh, this is a little weird, Jacqui? How do you break the ice, so to speak?
The first 5 or 10 minutes are always going to feel a little awkward.
Yeah, of course.
But we have professional hair and makeup first, so that kind of breaks the ice. You get to feel glammed up, something you normally don't do every day, and then you go into that sexy part.
I love it. And other than sexy, you really embody, the boss ladies. I mean, you do phenomenal headshots. I saw one of our dear friend Vivian, she got beautiful shots done, and I was like, dang, I'm looking at that photo and I'm like, she is a boss lady.
She is,
So
sure.
when someone comes to you, do you kind of have a vision in mind, or do I have to be like, hey, this is what I want and need?
A little bit of both. So I'll have my visions and I'll take what you do for a living and kind of mesh them together to create a perfect portrait.
And so at the very end, do I get all the digital copies, or they retouched? How does that work?
No, we'll provide you the gallery of your best images, and then you're gonna go through them and pick your favorites out of those best pictures. And then that's when we'll retouch them and give it back to you.
So I've got to know, what made you want to get into photography?
Whew, that's a little bit of a long one.
Short answer.
Short answer. I've always been creative growing up, coloring, painting, anything that has to do with art. Started photography when my children were born, and I just wanted to capture every second of their lives. And then it just kind of morphed into women and empowering women.
I love that. Well, speaking of it, Mother's Day is tomorrow.
Yes.
So happy Mother's Day
Thank
to you.
you so much.
By the way, I gave your beautiful daughter a cake pop. I hope that's not a problem.
She's
I should have
definitely
asked
happy.
you first, I guess.
No,
Okay.
She's living her best life over there.
Right? I don't
She's
blame-
adorable, by the way.
Thank you so much.
So my last question for you, Jacqui, is what advice do you have to younger you about starting your own business?
Oh, taking workshops. I think that starting from the beginning, don't try to learn the hard way. Learn from people that have done it, been there, and then gather all that information and create your own self from there.
Well said. Well, if you need sexy time photos or just overall headshots, or you want to feel like a boss lady, do yourself a favor and call Jacqui. She's phenomenal, and we'll be right back after this short break.
The following Best of Central Florida Justin's Choice is sponsored in part by GenCare Resources and Sophila Radio and Television Productions.
And finally, my favorite portion of the show every single week. It's time for Justin's Choice, when I can actually take ownership of the show.
Yeah, it's all about you now. Just kidding. It's about our guest, but you can have your moment.
And this one's a really good one. And Justin's Choice this week for Best Women in Business goes to our good friend Olive Gaye. Olive, how are you? What a pleasure it is to have you here.
I am doing very well, thank you. Thank you so very much for having me.
It's my pleasure. And a laundry list of awards, as you can see here, that you've received. This is, I'm sure, just the highlight of all the awards you've gotten. But let me tell you something. We have a lot of people that bring in their handlers or their interns or their employees. You brought a girl named Anna with you today. I can tell she's a rock star. She came in here, and I can tell she really keeps you straight, doesn't she?
Oh, yes, she does.
You own a company called GenCare Resources. And what does that mean exactly? What do you guys do?
Great. GenCare Resources is a family-focused healthcare company. I started with a vision 10 years ago, actually, from my kitchen table to create a family-focused healthcare company with providing the human element to the healthcare equation. And today, we have a multifaceted healthcare company giving care to our community in various aspects.
So how do I know if it's time to call GenCare? Who is your customer? Who's your client?
Actually, my client is everyone, because GenCare is unique in a sense that we care for everyone from the newborn babies all the way up to elderly patients.
Yeah, and your story is impressive. Obviously, I see over here women who move the city and Women of the Year. And now here on Best of Central Florida, it's incredible. But your journey from Jamaica to being a real rock star in Central Florida, tell me about that journey.
Okay, that's a very unique story. And I came from Jamaica many years ago. And as someone who has always been mentored and loved by the elderly, I wanted to give something back to them. I did not, my vision wasn't as clear as it's going to evolve into this huge company that I now have. All my vision was to care for the elderly when they get to that point in their life when they're most vulnerable. That is the time they need someone to care for them in a dignified, respectful manner. And then again, I had a mentor and a friend who was receiving home care, and I didn't think it was befitting such a sophisticated and learned person.
Right.
And I thought, oh, I could do better. So I left my human resources job to start a home healthcare company. You know, they say ignorance is bliss. Now I know. But my goal was, if you think about it, you have a loved one, or even us, if we are brave enough to think about it, when we get older, we don't know what kind of care we were going to need. Who would you like to give that care to you? How would you like to be treated when you need help with the basic things that the human being does? You need someone to help you to the bathroom. You need somebody to remind you what that thing in the corner is. It's a refrigerator, talking about my Alzheimer's patients. So you need somebody to see you and not the illness, and to care for you in that dignified manner. And then I created GenCare because I thought, if I can use my human resources background, the human element of it, and train these nurses, somebody with a passion for caring for adults, then they can go out there and give this care to these well-deserving people, to care for the people like who had cared for us.
Absolutely. And you've created a great company. Obviously, you've become very well known around here, but you know, when you look back on it, when you look back on what you've created here or the people you've helped, what really makes you smile when you think about it?
May I just tell you a short story?
Of course.
One of our division is it's a PPAC. Think of a preschool for medically needed kids. And we have a facility, it's called GenCare Kids. And these little babies, we take care of them in this facility, a beautiful facility, because we saw a need where they thrive in a company of their own, because most of the kids we take care of in the other divisions, they're basically at home with skilled nurses caring for them. But these little kids, you know, they could be severe allergies, cerebral palsy, or they're ventilator dependent. But I go into this facility once to give something to the director of nursing, and these little babies are waving and laughing, and because I was feeling a bit down that day, and I came out with tears in my eyes. And what do I have to worry about? This is their life, and if they can give me a smile, then I can fix my problem. They deserve.
Well, I'm proud of the fact that you've built a business on taking care of other people. It must be quite a rewarding way to make a living and to go on this journey of life from Jamaica to being one of the absolute top women entrepreneurs in all of Central Florida. Quickly, vision. You're a visionary. What is your vision for GenCare Resources in the future?
Currently, GenCare cares for with a passion for caring for the elderly. I started there, but now we're caring for everyone. My vision is that everyone, the foundation on which GenCare was built, dignity and respect for everyone. It's not just in words, but it is practiced in every home, every office, every facility that bears a GenCare name, caring for individuals the way you would like to be cared for, especially at your most vulnerable moment, with dignity and respect, because that's what you want.
Doing God's work. Olive
Yes.
Gaye, what a pleasure it was to see you today. I wish you nothing but success in the future, and I know that success is something you've already created, but I see more coming. Keep helping the people. What a great thing you're doing. Awesome to see you. Makaila, 2 weeks of great shows here, celebrating the amazing women we have in Central Florida, and not the least of which is you, buddy.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Awesome. I had a great time. Thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the last 2 weeks, and I'm just really impressed. I'm really impressed with where we've come as a society, and Central Florida has some fantastic women entrepreneurs.
They most certainly do.
Awesome. Thank you as always for joining us. Thank you to our WKMG crew. Hit record series now, and we'll see you next week for more Best of Central Florida.
The preceding Best of Central Florida program was sponsored in part by Beth's Burger Bar, Passio Photography, GenCare Resources, and Sofila Radio and Television Productions.